So, as many of you know, I have been navigating my journey as a feminine who is on a twin flame path for a really long time. And I have experienced a lot in this almost 9 years that I've been navigating this. And there's been highs, there's been lows, there's been so much intensity, there's been moments of grief, there's been moments of bliss. And I know all of you can experience your own version of that. And while I've been on this journey, I have noticed a lot of patterns within the collective. And when I talk about the collective, I say I'm talking about the collective of twin flames, particularly the feminine collective, who embodies a female body. Because I know that men also can have their primary energy be feminine. But there's very specific things that us as women who embody a female body experience that are different than men. And I've seen some of these patterns happen within the collective of twin flames, and I really want to talk about it because it's a smaller version of what's actually happening within the feminine collective as a whole, within the feminine consciousness. And for those of you that are on the twin flame path, we're here to unravel these things within ourselves, to heal these things, and to shift our identity and step into the woman who are meant to be in this lifetime. And when we do, that ripples out and impacts every single woman that we are connected to. And so it has this ripple effect. And that generational curse, the pattern that has been through a lot of lineages, gets to stop with you. And whether you follow me here on YouTube and or on TikTok, you know that over the last few weeks, I've been talking a lot about third party dynamics. It's because I have an incredible container that I'm launching in August called Untangled. And it's through third party dynamics, we get to experience another level of ascension. It is literally a portal for us feminines to be able to expand our consciousness and to heal. It's here to support our becoming. And when I talk about this a lot, there's a lot of things that I experience in terms of comments, but also too, this pattern doesn't just particularly play out for the women that are in the third party dynamics. It plays within the whole entire collective of twin flames. And so I want to talk about this today. And if you're new here, I want to welcome you. My name is Melissa, and this is the Sacredness Within You. I created this channel to help support feminines who are in the twin flame journey, to peel back the layers of themselves, to rediscover who they are meant, like who they're meant to be in this lifetime, and become the feminine that is no longer available emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and energetically available for breadcrumbing, third party dynamics. She is no longer willing to be available for emotionally unavailable men in general. And if this is something that you're wanting to know more about and receive guidance, then make sure you subscribe and to follow me for more. So when it comes to this pattern that I'm witnessing, especially like as I mentioned in the beginning of the video about third party dynamics, I see a lot of women commenting on my videos, commenting on things that other women are experiencing. And they're saying, just block him, walk away, you're too good for him, choose a soulmate instead, close that door, never look back. And like literally the list goes on. And while these choices that these other women have made are valid because it's their choice, right? It's extremely valid for them to be able to experience what it is that they're experiencing. But what I think we've created in this culture, within the collective and within the feminines, is that there's only one way to navigate this journey. And I think this started in terms of within the Twin Flame Collective with false teachings. There's teachings out there, and I fell for one of them that said there's only one way to union. And I'm sorry, but if somebody is saying there's only one way to union, run for the hills because there are multiple ways to union. I always think of like the example that I give people when we talk about all the different ways that we could navigate our own individual path to inner union and to 3D union. It's like saying that I, who live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, if I want to go to California, to go to San Diego, for example, it would be crazy if somebody told me there's just one way to get to San Diego, and that's to fly. When the reality is that there's multiple ways to get to San Diego, just by transportation alone. You could fly, you could take bus, you could take train, you could drive your car, you could ride a bike, you could even walk, you could take a motorcycle. I mean, the list goes on, right? And then don't even get me started on the amount of different pathways you could take to drive or to fly from Minneapolis to San Diego. There's many different pathways. And that's the same thing with our twin flame journey. And I want to talk about this a little bit in today's video because when somebody is saying just block him, walk away, choose a soulmate, close that door, it's his problem, not yours. This third party has nothing to do with you. This advice might come from their personal experience, right? And their personal choices that they've made. Because we can either make choices from our ego, which is our free will, or we could follow our soul's path, our own blueprint as twin flames. So you have one or two of those options. Neither option is wrong. It's whatever it is that you see best fit for your path. And for some, choosing a soulmate is what they're going to choose in this lifetime, and that's perfectly fine. But I want to be able to help support women who are wanting to be in 3D union. In order to do that, you have to come into inner union first. And what's super important is to understand that you can't bypass anything. So when these women are saying that just block him, choose a soulmate, all of that, all those things. A lot of times they're speaking from their own wounds, their own fears, their traumas that are still navigating and operating life from. And I have been there, and I think all of us can relate to that. And then you hear others say, they share because this is what has brought them peace. You have others that share about things things that they wish they have, the wish of what they would have known sooner. And I have done all of this. And while all of that information is great, right? And you can take what resonates with you and you can block the rest. When you have that type of discernment, it can be very, very powerful because just because somebody is saying something, and myself included, it doesn't mean that it's universal truth and that it's going to help and be effective for everyone. Because what a lot of you may not know is that I have been literally in the coaching industry for over 15 years. Over the last few years, I've been coaching feminines who are on the twin flame journey. Prior to that, I was doing life coaching. And prior to that, I spent a decade as a personal trainer. And one of the things that I learned through all of that, and I learned this very rapidly when I was a personal trainer, was that what works for one individual may not work for the other individual. And here's why, is we come with different wounds, we come with different uh, imprints within our energy field, we come in with different family backgrounds, different belief systems, different conditioning, and we have different experiences. Although it feels like they might be the exact same, there are some differences to it. And so it's important to understand that what is behind something for somebody might be different than what's behind a certain wound for you. So I want to give an example. So we navigate through things like the push and pull dynamic, the runner, the chaser. We go through third party dynamics. A lot of twin flames experience some type of challenge regarding money, past life experiences play in. I mean, literally the list that we go through is long because it's literally like you are like burning things down and then rising up like the phoenix. And so oftentimes when people are speaking about things, it's usually they see it as black or white. Like there's two sides of a coin. But a lot of times when it comes to these experiences that we navigate through, either you or someone else could have multiple reasons why something is surfacing within them and within their connection. So for example, like when we talk about third party dynamics, some people will say there's only two options. You stay in the third party dynamic or you just cut him off and walk away and choose a soulmate. To me, that's very black and white. But for others, and oftentimes when I talk about the patterns that are coming up within things, the reasons why we go through certain things, there can be multiple reasons why someone could be experiencing third party dynamics. They might have to learn boundaries. They might be learning boundaries about themselves and others through this connection. They might be healing their abandonment, their self-worth, their fear of rejection. There might be there to be able to discover their purpose, to fully integrate both their masculine and feminine energy and to rise into the feminine that they're meant to be, while others might be there learning how to receive love, to hold love. Some people might be learning how to understand how unconditional love shows up within them and within their dynamic. And so there's no two journeys that are alike, even though there are a lot of similarities. So I want to talk about the harm of incomplete advice. And this I see a lot. I see this a lot within the collective, within the feminines themselves. I see this in regards to people that are not even on the twin flame journey giving advice. I always think that's really funny because I think to myself, if I had like something, an illness, I wouldn't be going to a lawyer for advice or a diagnosis of what is wrong with me. I would be going to a doctor. And I think it's funny when those that aren't on the path are trying to give advice to someone that into something that they don't even know anything about, or people turning to advice from others that don't understand this path. We start to get this muddled, like, and very clouded and diluted um, information. And I know everybody going through this journey is going to come across some of that. There's nothing that I can do. Like, I can't protect people, but I can just inform others, right? Because when somebody is coming into the comments, they say, just choose yourself, just love yourself, or block your twin flame. You shouldn't even be talking to him if he's in a third party dynamic, or choose a soulmate, or even shaming somebody because they desire union. Because what's happening with this incomplete advice is you're not understanding what it is that they're navigating through. You're not understanding what types of experiences that they're having. And not only that, it can create shame or guilt within the other person for wanting to be with their twin flame, for being in a third party dynamic. And part of what's happening is we're having to, within ourselves and within the collective, clear the shame around third party dynamics. Because when you look at it from a cultural and a society standpoint, people shame others for being in third party dynamics. They look down upon them. They make them feel guilty. They make them feel as if they're less than. And that's the work that we are unraveling within ourselves, but also too within the collective, because This is not something that's new. This is something that has been within the whole human collective for a really long time. And us that are on the twin flame journey are lucky enough to unravel it within ourselves so that it can then end within our lineage, which then helps end that within others as well. And so when we're telling somebody that if they don't do the exact same thing that they're doing, or choosing a soulmate or blocking them, it can oftentimes come from this place of seeing somebody else as less than evolved or doesn't know better, or shame on her for wanting to pursue union. Because at the end of the day, that's not healing. That's not supporting anyone's growth. That's actually comparison. And this is one of the wounds that run within women. And that comparison, that judgment, the shame and the guilt that happens amongst women is the underlying thing that a lot of us have to clear within ourselves. And it's part of the reason why so many feminines on the twin flame journey are actually in third party dynamics, particularly those feminines that are single, women that are single, and their twin flame has chosen to be with another woman because it can bring up judgment, it can bring up shame, it can bring up guilt, it can bring up comparison, it can bring up issues around fear of rejection, abandonment, self-worth, all of that. And a lot of that stuff came originally from our very first relationship with another woman, which was our mom, where we had mothers that compared themselves to us or compared them to us to them, or even other women. They saw other women as competition. They saw other women as resentful when they had something that they wanted, and all of this stuff that a lot of us experience in our childhood with our mother is a hidden like mother wound that a lot of us don't see being played out within the connection. Because at the end of the day, a healed feminine, a feminine who is doing the work, she's going to support other women. She's going to collaborate with other women. She's going to see her in the light that she's in because she embodies and is the light that she's meant to be. And we need more women like that in the Twin Flame Collective and in the collective as a whole as feminines. Because honestly, I wish we spent less time as a collective trying to convince other people what they should do. Because part of it is those trying to convince somebody else usually means that you're coming from a wound, from speaking from fear, speaking from trauma. And not only that, you feel like the more people that you can convince to do the same thing that you have done, it then, what's the word, justifies or validates. It validates your decision. When the reality is you need to own your decisions. Whether it's something that you have made a wrong choice in, and trust me, I have been there. I always tell people I feel like I've done everything wrong according to this journey, but I've learned a lot about what to do and what not to do. And and so when it comes to this path, I wish we would spend more time supporting, helping other women become more conscious enough to discover their truth, to be able to be grounded enough to find their truth, and to talk about supporting women even when their choices are different. Like the women that want to choose a soulmate on this path, that's great. Like that is your choice. And I hope that that soulmate brings you just as much joy, just as much unconditional love and experience as your twin flame would. But for me, that never resonated. And for me and the women that I work with, I'm never going to tell them what to do. I'm never going to make that choice for them. Instead, what I do is help them become grounded to listen to what is happening within themselves, to understand what it is that their soul is wanting them to experience. Because for me personally, walking away from my twin flame and choosing a soulmate was never a path for me. It was never an option. But it doesn't mean that it's not someone else's, because you can choose that, right? But the way that I feel like if I chose somebody else, and this is just me, is I feel like I would be settling in life. I would, because I know what it's like to be with my twin flame in a relationship. And to think about that relationship, if that was just a small fraction of what I get to experience in union with him, I'm going the whole 100 yards, right? Like I will do whatever I need to do in order to become the woman that is ready for 3D union, ready for that type of expansion. And so for me, I didn't come this far to only come this far. And I don't want any other woman walking this path to think that they have to settle for something less than, that they have to walk away from their desire for union, this desire to experience the realness, the rawness, the juiciness, the everything that comes with union. Because for me, this journey has been my greatest catalyst of creating the change in my life that I have. And for me to become the woman that you see right now. This has been 9 years in the making. And for me, I don't want it to be 9 years for you. I don't want it to be 9 years for any other women that come after me. And so I look at it in this way is your twin flame journey is a portal of expansion. Coming into inner union is a portal of expansion. 3D or 3D, third party dynamics is a portal of expansion. Stepping into your purpose is a portal of expansion. Receiving, more abundance is a portal of expansion. 3D union is a portal of expansion. And for those of you that haven't had kids yet, kids will be another portal of expansion for you. We're constantly leveling up and creating opportunities for us to expand our consciousness, to expand our capacity to receive, to experience all that life wants to experience through us. And so for me, that's never an option to walk away from this path. And I get and I understand why some would, and why some would tell others to walk away from their beloved. And if you're wanting to know what I would do in regards to third party dynamics, I've created tons of videos on YouTube about this and also on my TikTok platform. Because third party dynamics, as I talk about in a lot of my most recent content, is a part of expansion for you to learn about you and your coding and wounds and patterning around relationships. Because our twin flame journey and being in a third party dynamic isn't about waiting for the other person. I don't teach women to wait. I don't teach women to chase. You shouldn't be chasing after your dreams. You shouldn't be chasing after your goals. You shouldn't be chasing after your twin flame. You shouldn't be chasing after money. You have to learn how to become magnetic. You have to learn how to become that version of you who is ready for the success, ready for inner union. I don't teach women to put their life on hold and wait for their twin flame. I don't teach that. I teach women how to become whole while allowing this journey to transform them, because that's what this journey is about. It's about creating the biggest transformation of your life. And I want that for as many women as possible. And it breaks my heart knowing that there are many who have walked away from their twin flame and not open to that type of transformation because they have so much anger and resentment and judgment and stuff towards their twin. And I get it. I've had all of that. And I've had to understand why I felt that way. Because at the end of the day, I knew it was nothing about him and what it was that he was shining light within me to see these parts of me that I didn't want to see for decades. And I oftentimes think about how lucky I am that I have a person who is me in another body, who is willing to play this role in my life so I could become the woman that I am today. Because I don't think I would be the woman I am today without being constantly shown these parts of me, being pushed to see these things, to continue to move forward in my path. I really don't think I would have as a soul been able to change otherwise. And I know many of you can feel that same way. And it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to be honored to be on this path. It's okay to be so grateful for your twin flame. And I want to normalize that. I want to normalize that it's okay to desire union, that it's okay to experience whatever it is that you wanting to experience on your journey with no shame, with no judgment, but to help support women coming back to their truth and what it is that they want to experience on their path. Because when it comes to my journey, when it comes to your journey, when it comes to the women that I work with in a one-on-one basis or even in my container like Untangled, what my goal is to help women become so deeply connected to themselves that they know themselves inside and out, and that the decisions that you make regarding your life, regarding your union, regarding whatever it might be, comes from a state of embodiment versus fear. Because when we can come from that place of embodiment, that's always going to lead us down our soul's path. The pathway that is going to get us to where it is that we want to go the quickest and in the ways that our soul is wanting us to experience. Not our mind, but our soul. And for many of you, you're navigating, I talk about this all the time, your journey from your neck up. And you need to be journeying this journey from your neck down. And so for me, community is something that's very important to me. Very important, which is why my container called Untangled is a live container for 12 weeks where women get to come together. It's why I created Rise, which is my community for feminines who want to connect with other feminines to receive support and guidance. Because when women come together, something magical happens. You get to be witnessed, you get to be seen, you get to be held, you get to be understood by other women. And for some of you, it's terrifying, I know, because you're afraid to be fully seen because of what's happened in the past. And I get that, which is why I do what it is that I do, because I also share that as well, that same fear, that fear of fully being seen, because it can be interpreted. You could be misunderstood. People may be jealous of you or envious of you, and all of that is also medicine. But for me, when the women come together in this journey, we become stronger within ourselves and within our community. And when we're doing this, we then are able to stop convincing everyone to have the same story. And we can start allowing women to honor their journey the way that they're meant to, because your journey may not look like mine. And neither one of us is wrong. It's what it is that we're here to experience. So the question isn't whether you're following someone else's path correctly. The question that you should be asking yourself is, what is your soul actually asking? of you to experience. Whether that's third party dynamics, the push and pull, the chasing, whatever it might be. Because ultimately, you are the one who has to live your life. You have to walk your journey and make peace with the choices that you have made. And when women come together to support one another and to honor and to witness one another, magical things happen. And if you're wanting to start unraveling the third party dynamic within you and to become the woman emotionally, mentally, physically, and energetically available for union, then I encourage you to check down in my description box for Untangled. Untangled will be launching on August 20th, and right now I have a wait list going. So where you can be on the wait list and to be one of the first to know of when the portal is open for you to join. And I would be honored to have you in that space. And I hope you are able to be there so you can rise up and to become the woman you are meant to be in this lifetime, because I want to witness as many women becoming who they're meant to be. And so as always, it's an honor to be on this path with you and to witness you and to experience what it is that you are going through. And I send you all so much love and light and cannot wait to connect with you in the next video. Until next time.